And now, ladies and gentlemen, presenting your host for tonight, Mr. Jerry Phillips and Miss Ann Sawyer.
Good evening, I'm Jerry Phillips.
And I'm Ann Sawyer. Welcome to this evening's one-hour telecast that brings WHMM to the airwaves, coming to you from the campus of Howard University.
On tonight's show, we will feature remarks by Dr. James E. Cheek, President of Howard University, Dr. Geraldine P. Woods, Chairman of the Board of Trustees, Edward P. Morgan, Distinguished Newscaster and member of the board, and Arnold D. Wallace, General Manager of WHMM. Also, we will have videotape segments on the Howard University New Directions Fund, and we'll have some famous luminaries from the School of Law.
We will also have interviews with members of the community, with students, and with Mayor Marion Barry, Charles Ferris, Chairman of the FCC, Arthur Teal, a member of the Reagan Transition Team, and Congressman Lionel Van Deerlin.
And right now, we present Dr. James E. Cheek, to be followed by a New Directions segment narrated by James Earl Jones.
This evening, Howard University adds to its history yet another landmark achievement. For on this day, the realization of that which was only a dream for so long is now a matter of record for all who would preserve it. WHMM-TV, the Capstone Station, represents the culmination of several years of dedicated work by faculty, staff, students, and friends of Howard University. In many instances, the only compensation received is the joy, pride, and triumph which they share this evening. Howard University is indeed thrilled to be able to join the ranks of television owners and broadcasters and to share with you, the general public, the offerings of what we pledge to develop as the most exciting broadcast operation in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. We are pleased that we have become the first public or commercial television station owned and operated by a traditionally black college or university, and one of a small handful of minority-owned public broadcasting facilities. We are also pleased that WHMM-TV now joins radio station WHUR-FM as a second means of providing extensive opportunities for our students in the area of mass media communications and related fields to learn the application of education by experience. The building of WHMM-TV is the continuation of Howard's historic mission as the capstone of higher education for Black Americans, as well as for all Americans seeking to improve the quality of life in our society. The importance of the field of telecommunications to the future of America and to the world cannot be overemphasized. It has an enormous potential for the development of jobs, technological skills, for the shaping of public opinion and major public policies, and for the education and entertainment of millions of people around the world. Telecommunications is the single most important instrument for reaching and influencing a mass audience, for helping billions of people in the world to understand the lessons of the past, to cope with the challenges and difficulties of the present, and to contemplate what kind of future they and generations to come will inherit. This station will play a significant role in the dissemination of vital information to many publics. Howard University's objectives in the operation and management of WHMM-TV are to serve the public through the highest quality programming, to train students for full-time careers in every aspect of telecommunications, to provide a medium for the discussion and dissemination of ideas and principles which will help to develop the life of the mind and to advance the cause of freedom, personal liberty, and social justice for those who do not enjoy these God-given rights. We invite you to join us in our endeavors as we begin this momentous journey and adventure. The success of our efforts will in large measure depend upon your cooperation, prayers, and support on the part of great numbers of persons from all walks of life and from all areas of interest. We hope that this new experience, which we call WHMM-TV, will become a meaningful and beneficial part of the lives of all who share our dream. Your participation with us will forever be welcomed and encouraged. I thank you.
Over the past 113 years, Howard University has grown to include 17 colleges and schools. As a black university and as an excellent university, Howard's unique mission is to provide black Americans and all people of the world the benefit of higher education. A strong responsibility to the social, economic, and health needs of black people has resulted in pioneer research and development in the humanities and sciences. And these achievements provide strong links to the overall advances of all peoples, cultures, and nations. Today, Howard University is confronted with the imperatives of a new era. What it begins to do this year will be done not only on behalf of this generation, but also on behalf of those generations yet unborn. The Howard University Medical Center stands as one of the foremost healthcare centers in modern America. The College of Medicine's emphasis and insistence on academic excellence is rooted in Howard's mission to provide black people and all people with first-class medical care. The problems that face the black population are unique. Sickle cell anemia affliction, the highest rate of cancer mortality in the nation, and a high percentage of kidney transplant rejection. The solutions to these problems will yield medical knowledge that will benefit all people of the world, and Howard is meeting these challenges with the most advanced and sophisticated facilities and technology. The Cancer Research Center has stood in the forefront of the nation's cancer research, treatment, and education effort. Under the direction of Dr. Ulrich Henschke, pioneer work in interoperative radiation therapy was developed. Today, it is successfully helping cancer patients not only in the United States, but also in Haiti, Liberia, and Tanzania. Howard has also developed one of the nation's finest kidney transplant teams. Because Washington, D.C. has an unusually high incidence of kidney disease, Howard University will play a major role in kidney transplantation in the future. 25 years have passed since the United States Supreme Court decided the landmark school desegregation case, Brown versus the Board of Education. In the 1940s and 1950s, Howard University's law school became the forum for lawyers to test their arguments in preparation for this historic event. This case succeeded in convincing the Supreme Court that its precedents were wrong, that segregation was wrong, and that the time had come to bring down the walls of racial discrimination. Since its founding in 1869, Howard's law school has been a pioneer in establishing civil rights cases. This tradition continues with an ever-increasing spirit. The triumph of 25 years ago was only the beginning of the breakthrough to end racism and establish true equality for all people. The School of Law educates and trains its students to be of service in the conduct of community affairs, in the resolution of community problems, and in the practice of national and international law, business, and management. As members of the American Bar Association since 1932, Howard's Law School graduates include many outstanding corporate executives and government officials, including Thurgood Marshall, Associate Justice of the United States Supreme Court. Our planet Earth is facing crucial issues of survival, pollution, famine, energy deficiencies, and transportation problems which threaten our future existence. 113 years ago, Howard University played an important role in healing the wounds of civil strife. Today, Howard continues to dedicate itself to the problems that face humanity by finding technological solutions to improve the living environment of mankind. There is a critical need for more minority engineers. Enrollment in Howard's graduate program in electrical engineering has increased 133% in the year 1977 to 1978. The Department of Chemical Engineering is fully accredited by the Engineers Council for Professional Development and the American Institute of Chemical Engineers. From a people who have experienced long suffering and great oppression comes the expression of the freedom and joy to create and celebrate life. The contribution of the black artist in visual and performing arts has inspired and influenced the great cultures of the world. Howard's dedication to and support of the black artist's contribution in society is exemplified in its superior fine arts teaching faculty. International acclaim has followed Howard's students in their performances throughout the United States, Europe, Africa, and Asia. If Howard is to become a university of the first rank, it must attract and support a first-rank faculty. It must enroll and maintain a first-rank student body. It must create the environment of first-rank physical facilities and intellectual purposefulness, which marks any great learning center. To do so, Howard University cannot take less, seek less, be less, make do with less than is truly needed. In the past decade, Howard University has ventured into new educational frontiers. It has expanded the scope of its academic offering and intensified its capacity for research and public service. This has been accomplished under the leadership of its president, Dr. James E. Cheek.
We shall seek and find creative and imaginative solutions to the problems of human relations, the problems of educational disadvantages, the problems of economic insufficiency, the problems of inadequate health care, and the problems related to overcoming the lack of knowledge, understanding, and the appreciation of black Americans and black people throughout the world. If all of the different groups at Howard work together with a spirit of mutual trust and confidence, we can then build at this university an eternal monument to man's ability to serve that which is good, that which is noble, and that which is true.
tonight we're extremely happy to have our Mayor, Marion Barry, who earlier today issued a proclamation making Monday, November 17th, 1980, WHMM Day. Welcome, Mr. Mayor.
Thank
We're
you
happy
very
to have
much.
you.
I'm glad to be here. This is a great day in the history of Howard University and our city, so we're just very proud to share in this historic occasion.
We're happy to have you here to share a little information with us. We're not going to ask any real tough questions. We'll ask you back later for that. But the whole town's buzzing about a new administration and a new Congress coming in. And with that, the district had finally begun to have a fairly decent relationship, working relationship with members of Congress on the district committees. Do you feel that that relationship will be changed anyway or remain basically the same?
Well, as you know, I supported President Carter, a good Democrat, but now his election's over, I think the district has to do the best it can to reach out to this new administration, to involve them in the uniqueness of the district in the sense that we are a local city, an international city, a national city. We pay 80% of the taxes which support this local city. One thing I found very interesting, I was talking to someone last Thursday or Friday, and they had the impression when they came to Washington that the federal government was taking care of all of us here, and now they know better. More importantly, though, I think that it's important that this new administration reach out, and we reach out to them because we are also one of America's greatest cities which need help. And the only way we can get that is, in my view, from major efforts on the part of the federal government, and I'm optimistic.
For instance, you know, we get about, what, $450 million each year in federal grants. Some of these, like jobs programs, are based upon population figures. We have to get these things through Congress and approved. What about the census? How do we stand on that?
Well, I think we're about 20,000 short of our own estimates. We've not yet decided whether we would join Coleman Young and Maynard Jackson and others in going to court. We may do that.
Would that mean less monies?
Well, of course it does, because CETA programs and community development block grants and other programs are based solely on your population. And if we are down and undercounted, which I know we are, that means that we are underfunded. So therefore, it's to our advantage to always get as many people counted as we can so we can get as much money as we can, because in my view, the cities need massive help in the area of housing, job training, health, education, the environment, and the quality of life kind of things that we all need to make it possible, because those of us locally can't afford to meet all the needs that we have.
As far as revenue sharing and this sort of thing, what kinds of implications have you had from the people you've talked to? I understand that the Reagan administration wants to invite you to the White House and this sort of thing. Does it portend good times for us or bad times?
Well, I'd like to go to the White House if we get some money and some help there. In fact, tomorrow night, I guess I'm one of the few people in Washington. We are having a little dinner with the president-elect and his wife, and Effie and myself and several others are going to talk about the city and about money and about problems and about how we have to get help from that administration.
Our problems have been pretty obvious to everyone in the city. You've had to ask for cutback in funding for schools and some teacher layoffs and what have you, and everyone is concerned about education. What do you see in the future as far as the district schools are concerned?
Well, first of all of us have to be extremely supportive of public education. I went to a public school, and I believe very strongly in public education, and we're not careful. Not only black colleges being eroded, but public education through tax credit and other kinds of things, which means we have to find other ways to help the schools survive more than just the budget. I think there are other things that we can do with parents, with housing,
we'll all be working together to find them.
Things, yeah.
I wish we had more time. We'd like to thank you for coming,
Thank you,
Mr. Mayor.
And again, good luck to Howard University and WHMM. I'm just excited about the whole thing.
Thank you very much. Coming up, we'll have excerpts of two programs you'll be seeing on WHMM, Channel 32. I Am Marianne from the Alameda Speak series. Also, a part of a Black Consortium series to air Saturday nights at 9 o'clock, featuring shows by Black producers from around the country. Also, you'll see an excerpt from Afro-American Perspectives, to be seen Wednesday nights at 10 o'clock, a show produced by the Maryland State Department of Education, highlighting the rich history of our people, followed by comments from Dr. Geraldine P. Woods. But first, we have some interviews and some comments from people in the community, and we'd like to share them with you.
like to see more programming on black musicians and also black drama.
Following a format similar to Ebony, in essence, by letting black America know what is being done or what has been done by blacks who raised themselves above the so-called average level.
We really like to see more black educational, well, not necessarily black, but more educational programs for the children on TV, on any type of TV.
Question and answers concerning doing away with war.
Doing away with war?
And educate the people to love each other and not hate.
I like to see more conversation about black people and their attitudes, their response to one another, general black communication. I like to see more conversation about black communications with one another.
Okay, thank you. What types of shows would you like to see?
Yeah, well, I would like to see more about Africa. You know, a lot about Africa, the cities of Africa, like Lagos, Ghana, you know, more black shows about Africa.
Well, really, on a good TV program, a black program, I would like to see some good plays. Not too much sex, not too many innuendos and all like that. Some good black music, black entertainers, not just jazz and all this hooping and hollering, but real good music from black people. There are lots and lots of black people, black actors and everything who can really come across instead of some of the stuff they have on the other TV stations. I just turn it completely off. But if we have a black TV, let it be something that's upstanding.
To myself, modeling represents an art form of motion and vitality. It is so graceful and fluid, and yet it requires concentration and discipline. All forms of excitement. My dancing ability taught me balance. My acting training has taught me not only to assume fashion personalities, but how to give expression to my deepest feelings.
Heritage has sometimes been defined as, quote, the power of the past, unquote, with the past characteristically operating as a psychological support for the present. Yet, generations of Americans of all colors have been exposed to texts and other media which either blatantly or subtly ignore, demean, or understate the contributions to the stream of history by Americans of African ancestry. As a result, all sorts of myths, misinformation, and misunderstandings exist in which European Americans are pictured as a secure, long-tenured, accomplished people with civilized roots running back into history for thousands of years, while Afro-Americans are seen as a very recently emerged group, not long acquainted with mature proceedings whose known history is largely confined to the few generations they have lived on American shores. African heritage is thought of as an uncivilized barbarism from which black Americans were very lucky to be saved, albeit by being kidnapped, sold like cattle, and forced into one of the most savage and inhuman systems of slavery the world has ever known.
During the period of time that I have served on the Howard University Board of Trustees, some 12 years now, and as chairman of the board for the past 5 years, I cannot think of a single occasion that has brought, indeed will bring me the sense of exhilaration and pride that I feel at this moment. President Cheek and the members of the Board of Trustees who serve on the Mass Media Communications Committee, as well as the cadre of talented and skilled people, including many dedicated students and faculty members, have conquered the many challenges, frustrations, and obstacles that have faced them over a period of 7 long years to bring us today to this historic and significant moment in the 113th year of this great institution's existence. We all know that the decade of the 80s portends many dramatic and often crucial political, economic, and social changes for the poor and black communities of this nation and of the world. WHMM-TV will bear the socially responsible burden of informing, counseling, and yes, advising of those problems, needs, and interests that are destined to affect the way we go about the task of living in a rapidly changing world. For more than 11 decades, Howard University has played a major leadership role in the national and international society. Tonight, we once again bring to you definable proof of our acceptance of the challenge of leadership as we launch the very first black-controlled public television station in the nation. A broadcast laboratory where our young people can be professionally trained in the perplexities of the world's most powerful communications media in our environment, of actual broadcast operations with the equipment and the professional staff that will rival any television outlet in the nation. We will train our engineering students in state-of-the-art operations with the most technically advanced equipment possible. We will train our journalists in actual breaking news situations. We will train producers, directors, writers, and talent right here on an actual live broadcast set. We will train our business majors and accounting students in the conduct of a broadcast business. We will train our fine arts students in the complexities of broadcast productions. We will develop a cadre of broadcast leaders that cannot be refused a job in the marketplace because all they possess is education without experience. They will have the experience. They will have the know-how. And they will have the credentials. As a matter of fact, it is my fervent hope that what we do here will lead our graduates to both management and ownership of broadcast facilities. As we bask in the glory of this great achievement, I hope that you will join me in the feeling of pride for Howard University, and that you will watch, defend, and support this singular, bold step into the decade of the 80s. Thank you.
Thank you for that inspiring message, Dr. Woods. And now we're going to turn to another kind of inspiration, live jazz from the CVD Ensemble, featuring Howard University students, Carol DeShill on bass, Lan Richards on drums, William Phillips on trumpet, and Michael Hennigan on guitar, playing that classic by Herbie Hancock, Maiden Voice.
And now, remarks by Arnold Wallace, General Manager of WHMM, and the celebrated newscaster, Edward P. Morgan.
Good evening. Never before in my 20 years of working within the broadcasting industry have I witnessed such broad horizons of opportunity, not only for myself and the dedicated and committed group of professionals who are my colleagues, but also for our students, who will gain the opportunity to have hands-on experience within the telecommunications industry, experience which will be so vital when they seek to enter the communications job market. Newton Minnow once called television a vast wasteland. Now, this was largely because the programming was of such quality that it left the audience with very little of value. We at WHMM-TV are committed to bringing our audience programming that is truly representative of our experiences as a people that has often been muted, concealed, or ignored. We will bring to life, through our programming product, those facts and truths that for so long, for too long, have suffered in silence. Watch us, grow with us, support us. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of our evening's presentation.
Good evening. This is Edward P. Morgan. I am a member of the Board of Trustees of Howard University and chairman of the Mass Communications Committee, which, I confess, has done little more than sit on the sidelines and watch the development of this miracle until now, tonight, it springs to life. Half of my professional career has been pursuing broadcast journalism. I have long felt that the news media in general, including the print media, had two basic responsibilities: the informing of the public and in the best sense of the word, the education of the public. And I'm afraid I'm going to have to bite the hand that has fed me quite well and say that I think that in large measure the commercial aspect of journalism, both in print and radio and television, has not lived up to those responsibilities. It is saturated with commercials in broadcasting and has bogged down in mediocrity too much. But what have we here? A great, rare opportunity. The largest university of its kind in the world, with the only television station of its kind in the world, with an absolute mother lode of opportunities with which to inform and to educate, not only in terms of news, although that is terribly important these days and will remain so, but in terms of culture, in terms of music, in terms of science, in terms of intellectual matters. And while we're speaking in terms, what a happy coincidence this is, the opening of WHMM-TV tonight, just at a time when the nation has been making a sea change in politics, thereby making the voice and the voices of the ethnic minorities even more important than they have been to be heard. WHMM-TV will certainly capitalize on these things, and I can see, I hope, as a journalist as well as a backer of this enterprise, a great future for it.
Thank you, Dr. Morgan. Certainly hoping that you're enjoying tonight's program on Channel 32 and, of course, many programs to come. Unfortunately, Arthur Teal was supposed to be here, but we understand that he is running kind of late. We certainly hope that he can make it in time so we can talk with him. Next, we have highlights from several programs of interest to our youthful viewers. Watch Your Mouth, a show about a class of high school students in New York City. As we see it, a program co-produced by high school students themselves about how to cope with desegregation, and Rebop, a show that takes you around the country to see how teenagers of various cultural and racial backgrounds live. But first, let's see several other comments from those we've asked in our community about what they think they should see on Channel 32.
I would like to see more about God, because black people are so distorted about who their God is. Although we say there's only one God, but yet still we have so many that we worship. And this should be clarified.
The kind of program I would like to see is dealing with the conditions that black people deal with in America today.
Well, if I had my own television station, I would like to see more documentaries on television, not the same kinds of shows that we have today. I don't like the variety shows that come on every week, like Morton Mindy and shows of that nature. But I think more serious kinds of programs would be appropriate. More programming for youngsters would be appreciated too, besides the Saturday morning cartoons that you usually have.
I would like to see more educational program, more religious programs, something to tell like teenagers today about the real facts of the world, how to cope with it and that, and something to tell more about drugs.
Well, one thing I'd like to see the arts picked up, live arts. There are so many talented musicians here. I'm one of them myself. And I'd like to see much more happen for all of us in town.
Since this is a black TV station that's coming on, I like to see it black oriented, meaning that I'd like to see maybe some black educational shows for black people.
My husband and I will be alone for the first time in 15 years. My son has leukemia.
Who? Which son?
Otama. He's the only son we have.
But he looks so...
Oh, yes, he's wonderful. It's so deceiving, you know. I see him all full of life, and it gives me hope. And and when my husband sees me full of hope, he says, Otama is dying, and you had better come face to face with it.
Turn on the rebound.
Can't hear you. Head up, head up.
My name is Kelly Denise Robinson, and I'm 9 years old. I live in Watts, California. I was walking to the clinic. I seen all them kids flipping. I said, excuse me, mister, can I flip with y'all? Hey, mister, can I flip with y'all?
Can you flip, young lady?
Then he said, show me what you can do.
Kelly.
I have been a trainee with the Flying Souls about 2 months. Omar, he's our catch. He had to think for all of us. We practice 6 days in a week.
The most important thing is loving yourself. You cannot love anybody or anything else unless you love yourself. That's the most important thing. You know that what we are trying to do here is very important. It's not just a trapeze team. Each one of you are representing yourself, your race, and your community. This is my philosophy, and this is what I want people around me thinking this way.
We're honored now to have as our next guest the chairman of the Federal Communications Commission, Charles Ferris. Thank you for joining us tonight on WHMM.
Delighted to be here and honored to be here.
We know that you helped to get us on the air. The Federal Communications Commission does things like that. Mr. Ferris, with the mood in the country moving away from federal regulation, first of all, what do you see in the future for the FCC as a regulatory agency with a new Congress and a new administration?
Well, I hope that the policies that we've instituted over the past few years will continue to be considered as wise policies, policies that opened up the radio spectrum and the television spectrum to more participation by more broadcasters, and certainly to have that representation more representative of society as a whole. And that's why I'm very delighted to be here on this inaugural day, because I think this is exactly how the broadcasting spectrum should be used and how it should be emphasized and made more representative of our society. So I hope that the wisdom that we've gleaned over the past 3 years on these policies will be also interpreted by the new administration and the new commission, and hopefully they will be continued and not abated.
There was, in Broadcasting Magazine, there was an editorial that said that this present commission had done more social engineering than physical engineering, and the broadcasters were quite concerned about the additional competition because of some of the policies that you've instituted. Could you talk about some of those policies as far as access to, for other people to gain access to broadcasting stations?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think this commission has been very strong in feeling that our role is not to determine how many broadcasters should be in a community. We hope that we can have a piece of spectrum for everyone that wants to be a broadcaster in every community. That would be the ideal situation, that anyone that wanted to be a broadcaster could, anyone who wanted to risk their own capital to be a broadcaster could be, and have a message that would sell to that community. I think the existing broadcasters feel very comfortable with the number of broadcasters that presently exist. The very fact that they have their station and they're making their money at it, I probably would feel the same way if I were an existing broadcaster. But their attitude traditionally has been, and I understand it, it's human nature, that I'm aboard, pull the ladder up. The past 3 years, I think we've been letting the ladder down and letting more people participate in broadcasting and emphasizing, I think, broadcast licenses to those that weren't part of the mainstream of getting licenses back in the 30s and the 40s and 50s, giving preferences to minorities so that they too can participate as owners and operators of radio and television stations. So I think that I understand their editorials. But I also understand our policy, and I'm proud of what the Commission has done over the past 3 years, and I hope it continues into the next decade.
Are there any specific goals that you would have hoped to have been able to carry out yourself that you hope to see carried out once you step down as chairman?
Well, we have in place now a very important proceeding that would open up probably 100 new VHF stations in communities around the country, and virtually hundreds and close to thousands of new low-power UHF television stations around the country to serve very discrete communities.
Just what does that mean, low
power?
UHF?
It means that it wouldn't have a 60-mile radius, like your station here can reach to Baltimore and reach out to West Virginia. It would be a station that had lower power, that could probably just reach out to the very near suburbs of Washington, but that still is a very significant community to be served. And hopefully the stations can be tailored to serve those very discrete communities. And that has not yet been finalized, and I hope that it will in the next year, by the end of this calendar year 81, be finalized, and I hope the wisdom of that proposal will be seen by the new commission.
And we'd like to thank you very much for coming and being with us on this historic occasion tonight. Thank you very much, Mr. Charles Ferris. And now to Jerry Phillips and Congressman Lionel Van Deerlen.
Thank you very much, Ann. Congressman Van Deerlen, certainly we are happy that you could join us here at Channel 32 tonight. Let me ask to start off with about the public television radio funding, the appropriations for radio and TV and public sector under the new administration.
I think if I had a part in public broadcasting, Jerry, I'd make it a point to try to find as many sources of funding independent of government as I could. It's my guess that Congress, looking to the future immediately, is not going to be more disposed than past Congresses have been to fund public broadcasting, and we certainly haven't measured up to what was hoped for by the Second Carnegie Commission in that regard.
Do you think affirmative action programs in the area of, let's say, minority ownership will be affected under this new administration?
I should hope not. No commission has done more than the present commission under Charlie Ferris, from whom we just heard, and Ty Brown, who's in the audience, another member of the commission, to advance the cause of spreading out the action. Now, it's all very well to talk about training people for jobs, and obviously Channel 32 is going to do a magnificent job of that, but until we can provide a beacon to the commercial broadcast industry to make more stations available to be owned and managed by minorities. In my part of the country, it would be Hispanics as well as blacks. The point is that out of some 760 commercial television stations, exactly 6 today are black-owned. That's more than when Mr. Ferris took over the commission. Out of some 8,000 commercial radio stations, not more than 120 are owned by blacks, Hispanics, and one Indian out in Parker, Arizona. And we've got to do a much better job than this, and I don't think that any administration, Republican, Democrat, or otherwise, can afford to turn its back on the advances that have been made. There is so much yet to be done.
Let me ask you about another area now that's been on the concerns of many community people when we're talking about radio and TV, maybe commercial or non-commercial, and that is, of course, deregulation. There's been an awful lot of talk about deregulation. How do you feel about deregulating the total telecommunications industry?
I thought this would be a good idea if it could be accompanied by the sort of things that the present commission has been doing. Open up more spectrum space, make more AM radio stations available, put in more of these low-powered stations. You could have a very successful commercial operation in a community, in any of the great urban areas where great portions of the population are not being served. If you were to deregulate and let new people come aboard. The point is that if you simply deregulate, there's no way that the black or the brown community are going to be able to get their share of the action, because to buy a successful TV station in a major market now costs you $80, $90, or $100 million. The money isn't going to be there. The spectrum space can be.
Let's complete this whole interview, Congressman Van Deerlen, with a little definition of the subcommittee on the House for Communications. I'm sure a lot of people would like to know just what you do in your committee.
The subcommittee, which I shall be saying goodbye to shortly, has the responsibility for oversight of all communications matters within the government and of handling legislation dealing with the important matters of who gets a piece of the action.
Thank you very much, Congressman Van Deerlen. We certainly are glad that you could join us tonight on Channel 32.
Great being with you, Jerry.
Next, of course, we're going to talk about justice, and we're going to get into things about justice, and as we look into some of the programming on Channel 22. For instance, an excerpt from the program Justice, a 4-part series about how the justice system affects black and other minority communities, to be seen Sunday nights at 10:30, right here on Channel 32. Also, a look at the contributions of students and alumni of Howard University's Law School to the Civil Rights Movement. But first, let's see what present-day Howard students had to say when we asked them WHMM's role.
I think the significance and the main objective and goal for a black television station would be to provide programming that is in a positive sense to the black community and to portray blacks and other minorities in a positive sense.
What kinds of programs do you think a black television station should carry?
Black television stations should carry things that deal with black awareness as far as our culture is concerned, different activities that we should be involved in, and different matters that concern black people on a nationwide basis and an international basis.
Geared toward the black community, things involving black community, art, especially art, because we have a black exhibition over here now nobody's aware about. And it's a black faculty art exhibit, and I'm trying to get people to go over there now. And a lot of political issues that are affecting black people.
40 blocks from the center of Chicago stands Robert Taylor Homes, one of the public housing projects built by the city to house its poor. It has been described by its own residents as the rat cage. The balconies outside each apartment complete the thought. They've been screened in to keep pedestrians from being pelted with dangerous objects.
Oh, there were quite a number of lawyers, outstanding lawyers in this country, who have been associated with the Howard University Law School. And I think that some of them, if they were to come to this moot courtroom, they would just be delighted that there is this wonderful working atmosphere. Because so many times when they had their dry runs, they used to work in just small little cubby holes where they would attempt to plead the cases that they were going to have before the Supreme Court. And now, as many people know, the person who was the outstanding lawyer before the Supreme Court is on the Supreme Court now, and that's Associate Justice Thurgood Marshall, who was an NAACP lawyer. At that time, before Thurgood Marshall became famous, it was really under the leadership of Charles Houston. Charles Houston now has a chair named for him here at Howard University. A number of those persons who were on that famous 1954 Supreme Court decision that came down May the 17th, knocking down discrimination and segregation in the schools, were members of the Howard University faculty, or they were students who had researched the work for that particular brief. And of course, we know Judge William Hastie, who was a federal judge, who was also governor of the Virgin Islands and dean of the Howard University School of Law. Do you know that actually out of the 20-some people, oh, I think there were 20 or 21 persons who were on the brief, over half of them were members of the Howard University School of Law community, such as Elwood Chisholm, who was a member of the faculty here, Charles T. Duncan, who was dean of the Howard University School of Law, George E.C. Hayes, who was a person who started the civil rights course, the course that has been replicated in schools, law schools throughout the country. There are so many persons, persons whom I have not named, persons who primarily were on that brown brief, whom I have named, who have brought honor, prestige, and by all means the kind of equal opportunity argument that is so very necessary for the black citizens of these United States. These are persons of whom the Howard University School of Law can be very, very proud. And these are the persons whom others are following here at the university. We're hoping that they too will go out and become well-known, not just as lawyers in the corporate field, but again as lawyers in the civil rights field.
From great figures in civil rights to an immortal figure in American music and a native Washingtonian, Duke Ellington. Here's the CVD Ensemble with the great Ellington classic, Satin Doll. That's our show for tonight. You've been a beautiful audience. Coming up later tonight on WHMM, As We See It, Watch Your Mouth, Howard Perspectives, and Television from the Caribbean.
And be sure to join Ann and me tomorrow night and throughout the rest of this week at 7 p.m. on WHMM for an evening exchange. Have a good evening and good night.
Famous team of Gale and Franklin.
Stop.
What's the matter, Carlos?
Stop is a sentence, and it has only one word apart.
Yes, but that's a very special kind of sentence. It's a command, and there are two parts.
The noun in the sentence is you, but you don't have to say it.
Shut up!
What?
See, that's just another example of a command where the you is understood.
You got it, Mr. Judah.
Okay, fragmented musical notes, as the ones we just heard, like fragmented sentences, don't mean very much. On the board, you see a list of some luscious and lovely tidbits I took out of your workbook. Carlos, would you please read them out loud?
Yeah, one, I had dinner with Mary, a good friend of mine. Two, I received my paper with a lot of red marks on it. Three, Bertha didn't tell anybody about the accident, not even her mother. Four, I consider myself a warm, loving
That's our show tonight. You've been a beautiful audience. Coming up later tonight on WHMM, As We See It, Watch Your Mouth, Howard Perspectives, and Television from the Caribbean.
And be sure to join Ann and myself tomorrow night at 7 p.m. and throughout the rest of this week for Evening Exchange right here on Channel 32. On behalf of Ann, I'm Jerry. Have a pleasant evening.
That's our show tonight. You've been a beautiful audience. Coming up later tonight on WHMM, As We See It, Watch Your Mouth, Howard Perspectives, and Television from the Caribbean.
And be sure to join Ann and myself the rest of this week at 7 p.m., beginning tomorrow night, right here on Channel 32 for Evening Exchange. On behalf of Ann Sawyer, I'm Jerry Phillips. Have a pleasant evening.
Have a pleasant evening. Yeah. Uh-huh.
See you at o'clock.
Let's try it once again. Stand by.
That's our show for tonight. You've been a beautiful audience. Coming up later on WHMM, As We See It, Watch Your Mouth, Howard Perspectives, and Television from the Caribbean.
And be sure to join Ann and myself the rest of this week at 7 p.m. right here on Channel 32, beginning tomorrow night with Evening Exchange. On behalf of Ann Sawyer, I'm Jerry Phillips. Good night. Have a pleasant evening.
Okay.
And because it'll be the same as what you'll be seeing on the pamphlet.
Okay.
Okay, is that it, Mr. Director?
Can I let my
Please.
Yeah, I would say. Okay, we want to do it close.
Okay.
Anywhere.
That's our show for tonight. You've been a beautiful audience. Coming up later on WHMM, As We See It, Watch Your Mouth, Howard Perspectives, and Television from the Caribbean.
And be sure to join Ann and myself tomorrow night at 7 p.m. and the rest of this week right here on Channel 32 for Evening Exchange. On behalf of Ann Sawyer, I'm Jerry Phillips. Good night. Have a pleasant evening.